Welcome to another episode of St. Vincent Untold Stories. On this episode, we feature Vincent Shan Model Cork, Cambridge. Big ups to all of my subscribers. And if you are new to the channel, please remember to like, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Shocking confession, a man give testimony. Same dude wanna pass like baddest man. And you know, the sad reality is that the man who him claims a fame boyfriend. If you go call them man the names of them same set of man, they go slap you down and say, boy, who you call this and that. And you know, I same set of man them are in the club, them and a toss up liquor, a dash Guinness pan flu, a slap with boy face. When DJ say from no boy never touch you, let me see some gun finger in the air. Gun finger in the air. Same set of man them, you know. The man we ma talk about. Me know him. Remember I told you that how when we small we stood there around the avenue. And me say man a wicked man, bad man. And he was absolutely a bad man. But he ma live double life and we not know about it. So me I go low cock for explain and tell you now.
I worked for Bare Minerals, I worked for NYX Cosmetics, and I do some training for professional training for different companies, around the world.
You hear the man say who he is? Top general the man be. The man a big timer. Listen again.
I don't care what anyone thinks about me. Like, I went to grammar school with all kind of people, and I was friends with all these people, right? I'm Vincent Shan. I grew up in Sinil. I grew up in Parlat. I grew up in Layu. I'll talk however I damn well please. It is so important that in our society, we speak up and speak out and tell things like it is. Wow. Jasmine Vellock said that she was by the Prime Minister. Whew, child, I tell her the truth does come out in these things, Jasmine Vellock has been my friend for years. And I never knew that. And here it come out here tonight. So for me, I knew that I was different. So it was like, oh, I like boys or I like girls. I didn't know. Like, I just knew I was different. And I knew I wasn't like the other boys, right? So people used to be like, oh, he's a little sugary and, he's a little tanty man. In Paul's lot, I didn't have an issue because I was friends with everybody. There was never drama. I never had drama with people. I hear that story all the time about people who get beat up and things. I never got beat up growing up because I was cool with everybody. Like, even in grammar school, like, everybody knew what I was. So my mother dies, and George Smith and I had been friends for most of my life. And so George was the only person I would talk to. And then one day he came, I was sitting on the step, and he comes and he says, I think I'm in love with you. So I went around, I got the hose from the side of the house. So those of you who lived in Palsat and know me, Jasmine, I went around, I pulled the hose, and I wet him down with the hose. Because I was like, how dare you come tell me that you love me? I'm a guy. Like, I just still in my mind couldn't deal with the thought. And so he never gave up. He came and he says, you are... he's like, you need to just, you're not talking to anybody else. Just give me a chance. Like, I really like you. And there was a guy named Buff, right? An older guy named Buff in Palsat. And we used to talk. And so we used to always talk to him or whatever. And then he tried passing his place with me a time, right? Ooh, my nose. He tried passing his place with me a time. And I was telling George about it one night. And he says, so I was like, he's not even on my list. And so George was like, who's on your list? So I just say, you, just out of my, and that is where it happened. And so the relationship started. And so that is how my relationship with George Smith started. In my mind, I saying, but all these women are saying, I always have man beating them and thing, right? That's what I say, because my girlfriend, them, have man who just beat them and thing. So I say, well, okay, I guess this man beating thing is a normal thing. That's the kind of thing the boys are carrying with. Anyway, and he used to tell me he will leave me. If I leave him, I will leave him in a box. And Vincent Shan man doesn't really make it do some shit, I'm like, I want him with him. So after that now, then he gets into an argument tonight. The man pull out and me. This is when he was now playing his gangster. Alio, listen. I used to cook for the man, innit? I used to cook for the man. I used to cook for the man. I used to go and help the man wash the clothes all thing. Listen, no man again, that again, Vincent, man. Nah. Me like you, but me no want you. Me no want you, none tall, me no want you. Jasmine stop talking. Yes. Just see Jasmine no story too. Jasmine was my neighbor and Jasmine used to get the soap. Somebody must run down the road and tell he that I up the cussing his baby mother. Again, you think the man will come and take the woman and carry shipper he going. You know you do? Come grab me out by Natasha place and drag me down for carrying my Cyrus house and tell me I need to behave myself and sit down. The man ain't carrying you. The man ain't dragging you. The man dragging me. But you start plenty of women, now. All you listen, I get enough to bank him. Jasmine, tell them now. Listen, all you. That man give me real hand, you know. If you have a woman up Lago Heights, if you had a girl up Lago Heights who was cousin to a school friend of mine. And one night during Carnival, this was like, I think I was like 18, 19 at the time, and I wasn't talking to him. Because this time he was doing too much bad thing and breaking into place and all kind of stupidness. He was doing all kind of stupidness. And I didn't like that, and I said I need to change and whatever. So we used to fight over that. So I say, I done with you. I want you in my life. The man said, if you think you leaving me, you're going to leave me in a pine box. I'm telling the man, tell me if I leave in he ever, I going to leave he in a casket, in a pine box or whatever the fact they used to call it. So I go uptown with some friends and the girl and she posse come and want to accost me. I don't know from whence George Smith and his delegates came from. George Smith beat the girl and she friended them. She cousin and them and she whoever, right? He beat all of them. They end up in hospital and thing. And grabbed me by my hand and dragged me and tell me, come, we go home. I said, I'm going with you. He must say, let me go home. So I was kind of happy because it's like kind of like, real, man thing now. And and real deep voice kind of thing. And say, I say you have to go home, kind of, But he turned a bad man after. It wasn't a bad man initially. He turned a bad man later. But when we was together, he was hard. He used to play soccer and thing, but he wasn't, he got gangster later on, and it caused a lot of discontention with me, because he would be overly aggressive with people who I know, and I didn't like that. He was my person, around those times, so there were the people who would come on to me, and that's how I knew about a lot of the Vincentian populace, and had, people interested in me and wanted to call me and have phone conversations and tell me, come to the house for go into a back door of a house to take man. My grandmother would have been so ashamed.
Someone wanted me to do a video on Bow. Well, there you have it. From Bow's boyfriend himself. You see, when all they have up him and them like a bad man, them a man. You remember I warned you young ladies about man who's dressing up and not walking anywhere. You see what man them a do? You better take a man where go mountain and plant banana and planting. At least here guys dollar honestly. I used to think that Bow them not upon them thing there. You hear the man even tell you could ask him neighbor. Ooh. You know, hear the man say, one time he and Bow child mother been a cuss and the man tell she what, you can't cuss me because you got number 2 something, number 2 in the meow. Alright now, a lot of you ladies, I catch man pan all them man and all afraid to talk out because society go watch you no away. So when that done and you not talk out, now you man going in and go doing with number 2 pan something? Cock, I like how you said you don't want any Vince, man. Come did I just tell you keep it to yourself. You see how you did it? Nice, keep it this way. Cock, one thing I want you to do, I want you to call the names of who you know involved in this. Don't hold it back. This is 2021. This is the year of no fair. Tell us who is involved. Tell us where girl them man be. Tell us, Cock. We need to look at some woman and hold up some man like a dream husband. And if you're afraid to post the list, send it to Untold Stories. I would post it and expose the man them. You see, just like how you came out of the closet, brave and bold. That's why man them should come out brave and bold. So tell us who they are. Let us bring them out if them now want to come out. Where's the cock? You remember in the video when Winter posted a Chuck Marley and somebody said, Chuck him man, he cool. Cock, I still can't believe, and George Smith, you really say, bad man George Smith. George Smith, them boy they not play. Them boy they kick our face and back song, boy. You show where you say, Cock? Cock, you notice Untold Stories picked up your story without anybody sending it. That will tell you viral this again now. So if we get the list, it go more viral, you might end up on CNN or BBC World News. Drop the list, Cock. Make we know the man them within the big office them a do them thing. And still I go do, man. Please remember to like, subscribe and hit the notification bell. If you want Cock to drop the list, say Cock, drop the list.